Welcome to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. Good morning to my subscribers in the Philippines. Excuse me. Good evening to my subscribers in America and beyond. I would like to give a special welcome to my new viewers and subscribers. I'm so glad you stopped by today. I'll never take that for granted. However you found me, I'm real grateful. My channel has grown far beyond anything I would have ever imagined when I started this about 4 months ago. But your kindness, your generosity, your support has really overwhelmed me. And you know, I'm going to keep doing these vlogs as long as they're useful, as long as they're helpful. I'm not an expert, but my 11 years of being affiliated with the Philippines does give me a unique perspective. I like to share that with you and make your trip here more enjoyable and above all things safer. I'm boots on the ground. You know, people get a kick out of that, but it's true. You know, I'm not around the edges like a lot of these other vloggers that you see on YouTube talking about YouTube. Many of them not even in the Philippines, you know, and if they are, they're in some fancy resort or some fancy tower, you know, giving you a play-by-play. I live among the locals, and I'm always going to give you the nitty-gritty. That's just exactly what I'm seeing, what I'm living, and what I'm experiencing. I'm never going to sugarcoat that, and it's not going to start today. I want to talk to you about the importance of having expat friends abroad, especially in the Philippines. But before I get started, I wanted to give some good news, really, man. I was out last night around town in San Carlos, and man, it reminded me of the pre-pandemic days. I mean, there was lines forming in the pharmacy, at the chicken place. It was even children out in Jollibee, and I hadn't seen that in months. I mean, it just looked like a normal day before the pandemic. Now, what that means, I really don't know. You know, hope it means something. I don't know if the government is being lenient for December. I don't know if people getting their Christmas bonuses. Whatever it was, man, it was a great thing to see last night, because I know what the pandemic and the lockdowns have done over here as far as the economy. But because I did a video where I showed you I was the only one in the grocery store. Hell, yesterday I was in line in the grocery store. Made me feel good, man, because over here in the Philippines, pre-pandemic, you have to have patience. Everywhere you go, you're going to have to wait. I even got a video, it's called Patience, Patience, Patience. But, you know, just seeing things getting back to normal, man, gave me a good feeling, because I want this domestic tourism to open up. You know, I can't say when the international, but I want the domestic tourism to open up, because I love to travel here, man. So many places to go, so many once-in-a-lifetime places to see here, man. And it's cheap. You know, you can see them all if you want to. But I want to just talk a little bit about the importance of having expat friends here. I just came back from McDonald's and, you know, sitting down with a cup of coffee with a guy I consider my friend now, a guy by the name of John. He was on my live stream a couple of weeks ago. And I tell you, man, it was just so refreshing. It just did something to me to be sitting across from a guy who understood exactly what I was saying. I didn't have to explain anything. He didn't misinterpret what I was saying. And then he's giving information to me that I can understand 100%. It was just a free flow of information and self-expression. It's something that we take for granted at home. But when you get over here, man, I'm going to tell you something. You know, when they stifle your self-expression, man, self-expression is one of the great riches of life. When they stifle that, and you know, because unless you're fluent in the language over here, that base conversation that you're going to have with your woman, it's going to get old real quick, because you always have to understand, you know, you have to explain yourself. She's always going to misinterpret what you're saying, you know, because they don't understand the nuances of our language, the sarcasm, the tongue-in-cheek. And just to have somebody that you can talk to on a regular basis, man, it's worth its weight in gold. We've agreed, me and John, to meet every Friday. Man, I'm thankful for that, man. John, if you're watching, man, I really appreciate it. I've even got a guy who, a friend, I consider him a friend now. He lives up in Luzon. His name is Philip. And you'll see him in my comments all the time. We chat on Messenger. back and forth. That even helps. Guys, I was just like you. I used to say the same thing. Man, when I get over there, that's why I came here, to get away from all that whining and complaining and, you know, bitching and moaning. But guess what? After about 3 to 6 months of not having anybody to talk to and always listening to the Tagalog or Messiah ring it in your head and people talking around you, people talking through you and above you, man, you will crave just general conversation with somebody that understands your language. I know y'all heard those, you know, horror stories about expats and, you know, they always come over here and, you know, want to talk down to the Filipino people and, you know, they're always begging and they're getting drunk and all that. But look, you're going to throw all that out the window after about 3 to 6 months without regular good conversation, man. You're going to crave that. And you're going to see how important it is. Because self-expression is one of the great riches of life, guys. And there's nothing compares to being able to sit across from somebody and just shoot the breeze with them, guys. You know, if John would have asked me today, hey, can I borrow $50? I'd have gave it to him, you know, if of course I didn't have it with me, but I'd have gave it to him. I didn't care nothing about that, man. You know, I needed that conversation. It was important for my mind, body, soul, and spirit, guys. So don't shun these guys when you get over here, man, because I'm going to tell you, after about 3, 6, 9 months, man, you're going to hope and you're going to pray for somebody to sit across from. Also, a guy put in my comments, now, this is something I'm just going to answer because there's really no right or wrong answer to this, but he says, you know, on his initial trip here, how much money should he bring? He's going to be here anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks. You know, depends on what your itinerary is. You know, I always tell people on your first trip to the Philippines, bring as much money as you can afford. Stay as long as you can. Because it's nothing like the first trip over here. It's magical, man. You know, there will never be another first trip. The roosters that you hear all the time, man, it's going to sound like music to your ears. That unique sound of the taxi horns over here and just all the hustle and bustle and everything that goes on in the Philippines, man. I can't really describe it, you know, but there's only one time, man, so bring as much money as you can, but to be specific about it, I would say the least I would bring is $1,500. Okay, now that's aside from you already got your hotel or your Airbnb booked, okay? And this is for your food, you know, your itinerary, you know, your souvenirs. The least is $1,500. And then, you know, for 2 weeks, the most I would bring is $2,500. It's better to have more money than less money, obviously. But remember, I was suggesting to you, because everything that I give on my channel is just suggestions, is to have that itinerary ready, you know, because don't be like me. My first trip here, man, in this beautiful place. I mean, this Magic Kingdom, man, I'm going to tell you when you come here the first time, it's still that way for me all these years later. I stayed in Cebu and Mactan the whole entire time. No Bohol, no Boracay, no Palawan, no Camigan Island, no nothing. I would suggest you get at least 2 places to go. And if you fly into Cebu, you know, 2 places would be, you know, Boracay is only like a 40-minute flight from Cebu. And then I would go to Panglao, Bohol. I mean, you know, in these places, you know, you're going to get everything that you're looking to get. You know, you're going to get the live music scene. You're going to get the beautiful people. You're going to get the beautiful beaches. You know, you're going to get plenty souvenirs that you want to buy. Plenty relaxation if you want it. But at least have 2 places that you're going to go to. Okay? And then, when you get ready to leave, no matter where you're staying, what I would suggest you do is that last night, book your Airbnb or a hotel close to the airport. Because you don't want to take a chance on getting caught in traffic, you know, missing your flight and all that stuff. Because you know how it is when you have to check in for an international flight. It can be a hassle, and you want to give yourself enough time. But $1,500 is going to do it, guys. And this is besides your hotel, because I would suggest an Airbnb, because remember, you can cook your own food. Now, will that save you money? A lot of times, no, because eating out here can be cheap, but it may not be healthy, guys. The sanitation over here is not what you're used to. You could run into that. John was talking about he got food poisoned twice. He was here. He said the second one was pretty bad. He said, so he cooks all his food now, which is what I do. But that should be more than enough, unless you just go crazy and you're a John and you go to these bars all the time. You're drinking nonstop. You're smoking nonstop. Chasing women nonstop. But just a normal 10-day to 14-day vacation in the Philippines, $1,500 should be enough. And then 25, man, hell, you're a baller. You're living like a baller. Anything you want to do, you can do it. And then you're probably going to have some money left over. But whatever you bring, remember, go ahead and cash it all in at the airport, because you're not going to need money, dollars over here. Dollars is no good in the Philippines. They only take pesos at the beach, at the resort, at the McDonald's, at the Jollibee, at the hotel. Wherever you go, the souvenirs that you're going to buy. They don't accept US dollars. All right? And when you come over here and bring that money, make sure it's crisp $100 bills, crisp $50 bills, because you're going to get a hassle anywhere else. And anything less than a 20, 10, 5, 1, if they're accepted, they're going to give you a lower exchange rate. So remember that. Okay, but to answer his question, man, $1,500 should be enough. But remember, your first trip, bring as much money as you can afford. Okay, because there's really no fixed figure there. Stay as long as you can. I stayed 2 weeks, man. I wish I'd have stayed 2 months. Man, it was so spectacular over here, man. Just the treatment that you get from the people, man. They treat you like a rock star over here, especially your first time, man. You're not going to be, if you can't handle attention, man, it's going to be hard on you, man, because everywhere you go, I see now what a celebrity feels like, man. I mean, they did everything to me but asked me for my autograph, and they still do it today, because a lot of times, with me, being a black American guy, a lot of them, they don't see many of us. It's only on, television, or, LeBron James or somebody like that. But so when they see you in person, man, it shocks them, man. And they stared at me so bad, man, I couldn't take it, man. I mean, they stared all the way till I put my food in my mouth. But now, I'm used to it now. But there's no real figure there, guys. $1,500, $2,500, whatever you can afford, really. Just being over here, because depending on your lifestyle, depending on your itinerary, hell, you could come over here for 2 weeks. Remember, the average salary over here is $250 a month. The backpackers, I'm sure, spend a lot less than that. It just depends on your lifestyle, what you trying to do. But he's 51. He's just a regular American tourist, so he's not a backpacker. So I would say $1,500 to $2,500. Okay? Don't forget your condoms, all right? Because I'm not joking about that. They're too small over here, they're old, and they're going to break on you. Excuse me. So thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you're in America, it's getting late. Before you let your head hit the pillow, please help somebody. We don't want them late grocery runs, beer runs, weed runs, and you out and you see somebody in the street, man, buy them something to eat. Give them a couple of dollars. Buy them something to drink. It's a pandemic, y'all. We really need each other like we've never needed each other before. If you're in the Philippines, it's about 10:30 a.m. We've got the whole rest of the day to find somebody to help. If you're over here, you know what the lockdowns and what the pandemic has done to this beautiful country, man. Children are literally starving over here. People aren't getting enough to eat, So if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. When we help other people, we help ourselves. Take care, stay safe, stay COVID-free, and I'll see you next time.